Welcome to Community Advantage, the podcast from BuildMoat, where we cut through the noise on AI transformation and focus on the thing most programs are missing: the human infrastructure that makes adoption stick and turns investment into durable competitive advantage. I'm Emeka Ogbonnaya, founder of BuildMoat. 15 years across HSBC, MasterCard, BMO Capital Markets, and the Bank of England taught me one thing consistently. The bottleneck in every technology transformation is never the system. It's the human in the middle. Now, a lot of you have been reaching out and asking me to speak directly about the MOAT Framework, what it actually is, what it really means, and more importantly, how it translates into practical AI adoption and drives results beyond the standard 20% that most organizations hit and then stall at. So this episode is exactly that. Most organizations have bought the tools, they've run the pilots, they've written the strategy decks, and they're still sitting at 15% adoption wondering what went wrong. The answer isn't the technology. It never was. In today's episode, I'm going to try and walk you through the MOAT Framework. 4 pillars: mindset, operations, adoption habits, and transformation, and the complete playbook for building the human infrastructure your AI investment is missing. Let's get into it. So, to really understand this framework, we have to start with the problem it's designed to solve. Why are so many AI investments failing to deliver? We see the headlines. JP Morgan reporting huge efficiency gains. Salesforce handling half its customer service workload with AI. The technology clearly works, but that's not the full story. The reality for most companies is silence. They've spent heavily, but they're seeing almost nothing in return. Usage rates for these expensive enterprise tools are hovering around 10 to 15%. Think about that. You buy a license for 100 people and maybe 10 of them use it regularly. The tools get deployed, but the people don't get prepared. And that gap right there is where all the pain is. The real bottleneck isn't the code, it's the culture, it's the human element. Companies are running 2 completely different stories at the same time. Publicly, they talk about augmentation and productivity, but privately, there's a spreadsheet with a headcount reduction plan. That gap kills trust. And when you lose trust, you lose the very people you need to make the transformation work. This isn't about individual reskilling programs. It's about building the shared workflows, the peer accountability, the internal communities that turn individual skills into collective behavior change. That's the human infrastructure. Its absence is why AI transformation stalls. There is a window closing. The organizations that build human infrastructure in the next 12 to 24 months will establish compounding advantages that become very difficult to replicate. The organizations that wait will spend the years after that trying to catch up to competitors who have already embedded AI into their workflows, built communities of practice around it, and redesigned their operations to sustain it. This is not a prediction. It is already visible in the data. AI is now a top 3 strategic priority for the majority of large organization executives. The disruption risk is being felt. The question is not whether to build for this. The question is whether you are building the right thing. Most organizations are building the wrong thing. They are buying more tools. They are commissioning more pilots. They are running more training courses. None of those investments address the structural problem, which is that human behavior does not change because software gets deployed or because someone attends a one-day workshop. And this is precisely what the MOAT framework is built to address. It's a 4-pillar methodology for building that human infrastructure. It's not a tech framework. I'm not here to tell you which tools to buy. I'm here to give you the playbook for creating the organizational conditions where those tools actually get used, sustained, and turned into a real, durable advantage. The 4 pillars are mindset, operations, adoption habits, and transformation, MOAT. Each one addresses a specific, predictable reason why AI programs fail. Together, they form a system to move you from just deploying tools to building a genuine, lasting capability. So let's walk through each one. It all starts with M, mindset. This is the absolute foundation. Everything else depends on it. Before people will change how they work, they need to feel safe enough to engage with that change honestly. Not manage it from a distance, not nod along in a meeting and then go back to their desk and do things the old way. They need psychological safety. What does failure look like here? It's quiet resistance. It's when AI is framed either as a threat, where everyone implicitly knows their roles are at risk, or as theater, where a big press release goes out, but nothing actually changes for the people doing the work. In both cases, people smile in the workshop and revert to their old workflows the moment they leave. They'll copy paste between the old system and the new AI tool because nobody has actually explained how their role is supposed to change. That's a mindset failure. Success, on the other hand, looks like leadership being brutally honest. Honest about where AI will change work, and honest about their commitment to helping people transition. It's senior leaders, not just the learning and development team, holding office hours to talk directly about displacement risks and new opportunities. It's creating an environment where people can say, I tried this and it didn't work, or I'm scared of what this means for my job, without fear. That trust is the bedrock of real change. So, what does this look like in practice? For a large enterprise, it means senior leaders, not L&D, running quarterly AI office hours where they name the displacement risks and the opportunities directly. It means ditching generic awareness modules for role-specific AI literacy programs that are tied to actual workflow changes. It's about embedding a psychological safety index into your existing employee surveys. And it's leadership communication that can distinguish between short-term efficiency goals and the longer-term evolution of roles. For smaller businesses, the work is faster, but just as crucial. It's the founder or MD setting the tone by experimenting openly, making mistakes, and learning alongside the team. It's having weekly conversations where people share what they tried with AI, what worked and what didn't. It's explicitly removing the fear of looking inexperienced by naming it as a learning environment. And it's connecting AI adoption to the business outcomes everyone already cares about, not some abstract productivity metric. Once you have the right mindset, you can move to O, operations. This is where most AI programs go to die. Not because the tools are bad, but because they never get wired into the actual systems and workflows that run the business. Instead, they sit in what I call a pilot zoo. It's impressive in a demo, but completely invisible in production. The failure mode here is pilot purgatory. You have dozens of proof of concepts across different departments, all built on different tech stacks with no clear path to integration. The IT department gets pulled in way too late. Data quality issues are only discovered at the last minute. The result? 10 impressive demos, and 0 services actually live in production, helping a real customer or a real employee. It's expensive, it kills credibility, and it erodes everyone's confidence that AI can be more than just a shiny new toy. Getting operations right means owning integration, not just technically, but operationally. Who maps the new workflow? Who defines the service level agreements for an AI-assisted process? It means prioritizing. Instead of 10 simultaneous experiments, pick 3 high-impact workflows and integrate AI into them properly, end to end. A narrow, well-integrated workflow will always outperform a broad, poorly integrated one. It's about getting AI out of the zoo and into the wild. For an enterprise, this means creating a role exposure matrix that maps your top 5 high-impact workflows to the roles sitting inside them, rated by AI displacement risk. It means your AI use cases have direct hooks into core systems like your CRM or ERP. They're not just standalone demonstrations. You need defined AI-adjacent roles that sit between teams and agents, managing the handoff and owning the escalation path. And you need an integration checklist that has to be completed before any AI pilot gets production funding. For a smaller business, it's about starting small and wiring things properly. A minimal stack audit, a role redesign that merges tasks into an AI-enabled generalist function rather than just piling AI on top of already overloaded roles, and clear ownership of the AI-assisted workflow at a named individual level, not a vague team responsibility. So, what does a good operational setup look like? For an enterprise, it's about having AI use cases with direct hooks into core systems like CRM or ERP. For a smaller business, it's about starting small, with a minimal stack audit and clear ownership of each AI-assisted workflow. To know if we're on track, we monitor workflow integration depth to see if AI is used end-to-end, cycle time reduction for targeted processes, the production deployment rate of integrated AI use cases, and the error and escalation rate for AI outputs. This brings us to A, adoption habits. This pillar is about turning initial usage into lasting behavior change. This is what separates companies that see real results from those who don't. The typical approach is to buy a license, deliver some basic training, and send a nagging email 90 days later asking why no one is using the tool. This never works. Behavior change doesn't happen because you deploy software. It happens through repetition, social reinforcement, and visible wins. People adopt new ways of working when they see their peers doing it, when they feel safe to try and fail, and crucially, when the new behavior is embedded into the existing rhythms of their week, not offered as some optional extra. Failure here is that 15% adoption rate collapsing to single digits after 3 months. Teams revert to PowerPoint and Excel because no one changed the meeting templates or the performance expectations. I worked with one organization where a fantastic AI tool was stuck at 15% usage for 6 months. The tech was great, the training was done, but there were no habits. We redesigned the environment around the tool. We introduced weekly AI labs where teams shared experiments. We built AI prompts into their standard meeting templates. We created a champion network with real status and recognition. Usage jumped from 15 to 75% in 6 months. The technology didn't change. The human infrastructure did. That's the power of building adoption habits. In an enterprise, that means things like weekly AI labs in high-risk teams, structured 30-minute sessions where one person shares a workflow experiment and the group iterates on it. It means AI use is built into existing meeting templates, so it becomes the default, not the exception. For SMBs, it's about faster, disciplined habit installation. 2-hour weekly AI sessions where the whole team experiments together, tracking morale weekly alongside efficiency, because if the team is struggling with the change, the efficiency gains won't materialize, and integrating AI into the 3 or 4 meetings that already happen every week, rather than adding a separate AI meeting that everyone is too busy for. How do we build good adoption habits? In an enterprise, we can establish a champion network with real status and recognition and build AI use into existing meeting templates. For SMBs, we can run weekly AI sessions for the whole team and share one visible win each week to build momentum. We measure this through the weekly active usage rate of AI tools, habit institutionalization in recurring workflows, the champion network health, and the skill progression rate of our users. Finally, we get to T, transformation. This is where adoption becomes advantage. The first 3 pillars build the conditions for AI to work. This pillar asks the hardest question. What are we actually building towards? What is the defensible advantage, the moat, that can't be copied just by buying the same software? Most organizations never answer this. They treat AI as a series of cost-cutting experiments. The failure mode here is the most expensive because it's the least visible. The company looks like it's doing AI. There's a budget, there are presentations, but there's no compounding advantage. Competitors can replicate any new feature quickly because there's no community, no proprietary data, and no unique process built around the technology. There is no moat. Transformation means connecting AI investment to the business KPIs that already drive your company. It's not about measuring AI metrics, it's about measuring business outcomes. Are we reducing customer churn? Are we increasing revenue per employee? Are we getting products to market faster? It means defining the new AI-adjacent roles your company will need and building clear paths for your people to get there. This is how you turn AI from an expense line into a strategic asset that your competitors cannot easily replicate. For a large enterprise, this looks like piloting new AI operator roles that sit between teams and agents in live workflows, with explicit transition paths. It looks like funding 20% of time for reskilling in high-risk roles, not as a welfare measure, but as a capability investment with a named return. And it looks like having an AI ROI dashboard that connects every significant use case to a business KPI baseline and a target. For a smaller organization, the moat is often the quality of the customer relationship or the speed of response. So it's about choosing the 2 or 3 use cases where AI creates durable differentiation, not just cost savings, and building deeply in those areas. It's about treating your proprietary data as a strategic asset to be structured and used, not just accumulated. And how do we make transformation real? For a large enterprise, it means funding 20% of time for reskilling in high-risk roles and having an AI ROI dashboard that connects every use case to a business KPI. For a smaller organization, it's about choosing 2 or 3 use cases where AI creates durable differentiation and treating proprietary data as a strategic asset. We measure this with business KPI linkage, revenue and margin contribution from AI-enabled processes, the time to scale for new initiatives, and moat indicators like growth in proprietary data and workflow lock-in depth. And it's crucial to understand that these four pillars, mindset, operations, adoption habits, and transformation, are not independent. They are a system. They are interdependent. Skipping a pillar leads to predictable failures. Great operational integration without the right mindset gives you technically excellent tools that nobody uses. Adoption habit programs without operational integration give you enthusiastic users who can't actually change anything. And transformation ambitions without the first three pillars just give you strategy decks with no compounding value. It's a coherent system that addresses the full chain from individual psychology to lasting organizational advantage. That's the MOAT framework: mindset, operations, adoption habits, transformation. Four pillars, one coherent system for turning AI deployment into AI adoption that actually sticks. The full written playbook is available now. Link in the show notes. If you want to understand where your own AI skills gap sits, take the free BuildMoat AI Skills Mapper at buildmoat.co.uk AI Skills Mapper. 8 questions, 5 minutes, a clear read on what you need to build next. If you're leading AI transformation inside your organization and you want to move beyond 15% adoption, come and talk to us. Book a call directly through buildmoat.co.uk. Subscribe to the BuildMoat newsletter for weekly thinking on AI adoption that works in practice, not just in theory. And if today's episode was useful, share it with one person carrying this problem right now. I'm Emeka Ogbonnaya. This is Community Advantage by BuildMoat. Until next time.